Hi, I decided to talk about how I have lost weight. Now, the other day recorded a video showing what I ate throughout the day just to give other people ideas of what you could potentially eat to lose weight. And then I thought about it and I realized that I needed more of a video discussing the foundation of losing weight and some of the things that really helped motivate me and keep me on track. Now, I did it through Weight Watchers, and I know that not everyone's going to want to do Weight Watchers, but there are some principles that I learned through Weight Watchers that can apply to any diet, any weight loss plan, any lifestyle change. And one of the biggest things that I realized with Weight Watchers, and this can apply, again, all of these, let me just go ahead and say it, all of these can apply to anyone looking to lose weight. I'm addicted to weight loss. I have gone up and down, yo-yo dieted, and I mean yo-yo dieted 50 by 50 pounds my entire adult life. And I realized through Weight Watchers, you know, in discussing weight loss and eating and your habits, personality, etc., you know, we're all or nothing. Most people are. I thought it, you know, I was relatively unique in that, but I've come to meet lots of people that are also all or nothing people. And so you get, you know, almost like a high off losing weight. You know, you see the scale drop and you lose the first, you know, at first you lose a bunch of weight, let's say 5 pounds in 1 week or more, and you look at the scale and you're like so jazzed and you get so, you know, like I said, almost like a high off it. And, you know, then you continue that feeling throughout the weight loss journey. And for me, it's, you know, I get excited buying new clothes and, you know, the different, the attention that you get and the reactions that you get. And, you know, you just get kind of addicted to that. And I think that that's why me and probably a lot of other people are able to yo-yo diet and go up and down, because you get addicted to the, you know, to the losing weight, and then when you reach your goal, you don't maintain it because you want to feel that feeling again. You want to feel the high of losing it, of, you know, seeing the scale drop and feeling accomplished, like you did something. And I think that that's the core of why I've gained it back every single time, because I want to re-lose it. So I gain it back so I can lose it again and get that feeling again. And that's so unhealthy, and it's such a bad attitude. And I think Weight Watchers has given me tools to be able to deal with this in a healthy way. So that's one of the biggest realizations, and I hope that there's someone else out there. I mean, I'm sure there is that can relate, but also I'm going to move into some principles that I've learned from Weight Watchers that can apply to anyone who is interested in losing weight and living a healthier lifestyle. So the first thing that I think is really big is paying attention to what you eat and logging your food, writing it down, being honest with yourself, because it's so easy to lie to yourself and be like, oh no, you know, yeah, I didn't have 25 potato chips, I only had 10. I'm just gonna write down I had 10 potato chips, or half a bag, when, you know, unless you actually measure it out and count it out, what's half a bag? So it's real easy to lie to yourself, and if you're doing that, you're just failing yourself, and nobody's going to hold you accountable. Nobody's going to say like, oh, let me see your food log. Hey, wait a minute there. That's not right. You know, it's just you. So, you know, there is some dedication, and you got to be real with yourself, and writing down your food, logging your food is forcing you to do that. And that's something that's a principle with Weight Watchers. That's how you keep track of everything you eat. And it seems tedious to some, and it may seem, you know, I don't know, unnecessary, but it really isn't. It's so necessary. And then another thing, in order to log and write down everything that you eat, you need to be aware of portion sizes. And I talk about this in my blog, where I mean, I was ignorant to portion sizes up until a certain, you know, age. I mean, I just, you know, you're like, portion sizes, oh, it's what I eat, that's the portion, right? So you just dump your cereal into the bowl and dump the milk in and ratio it out however you want and eat that. And, you know, bag of potato chips you assume is 1 serving size. You know, a big 20-ounce Coke, you assume 1 serving size, and that's not the case. If you look at the serving sizes, and this is something that was just like, when I really got this, it changed the way I looked at food. You know, when you look at a bag of potato chips and you think, not the big bag, although, you know, let's be honest here, we all probably think that's 1 serving size at some point, but, you know, the single single serve, you know, smaller bags of potato chips, you might look at that and think, oh, that's a serving size. But look at the back, look at the calories and everything. That could not be a serving size. It could be 2 or 2.5. So it's, you know, that's really important. And then piggybacking on that, another thing is measuring your food, weighing your food. Something that completely changed my life when I started doing it was to measure my food. And before, I was doing Weight Watchers, but I would just kind of eyeball it. Like, okay, yeah, that's 2 ounces of chicken, I think. Oh, I don't know. And I found when I finally got a food scale and I started weighing it, that I was actually cheating myself. That I remember one of the things I would eat, or turkey, I would make myself turkey burgers and, you know, like from ground turkey and make them myself. And I, would estimate that one was, let's say, 4 ounces. When I actually got a food scale, I found that one was only 2 ounces. So I could actually eat 2 of them for dinner, for the points that I was, trying to achieve, consume. So measuring sounds really restrictive, and it sounds like, oh gosh, if I measure stuff, I'm going to be starving. But on the contrary, in my experience, I actually was overestimating what things were worth or weighed, and I wasn't eating as much as I could. Also measuring spoons in addition to a food scale. Measuring spoons, measuring cups, again, a tablespoon. What's a tablespoon? I don't know, I just know, but I actually have a hook in my kitchen. It's one of those like little, candy cane hooks that I screwed into the underside of my cabinet, and I hang my measuring cups and my measuring spoon. They come on a ring, and I hang them up there so that they're there and I can just grab them whenever I need them, and I measure anything that I think I need to measure, mostly everything. And it sounds so tedious at the beginning. I know, I was there, but once you do it and once you start adding, it's like common knowledge. Like, I actually had a friend over for dinner, a while ago, and she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm weighing and measuring my food. And she was like, wow, that takes a lot of dedication. That's pretty hardcore. I'm like, yeah, I guess it does, but it's just so common knowledge. Like, I didn't even think about it. I just got out my measuring spoons and my measuring cup, and I was having, we were having barbecue beef and potatoes. And, that's something you'd think like, oh, I can't eat that on a diet. But if you weigh it out, measure it out, you know what you're consuming, and you're using whatever tool you're using, a calorie counter or Weight Watchers, or just cutting, controlling your portion sizes or whatever it may be, that is paramount. And that's something that honestly changed my life when I started doing that. And then moving on to another principle is exercise. I hate exercise. I'm not one of those people that's been active and played sports and all that. No, didn't do that. Never did that. So I have to really force myself to exercise. And one of the things that has motivated me to do so is to look at it from a different perspective and not think where I've gotten caught in the obsessive, like rat race, I guess, of exercise, where you think, oh, if I exercise X amount of hours, I can burn X amount of calories, and then I can consume this food. And it's just, you start, like, your brain just is spinning with all these mathematical equations all the time and trying to figure out what cancels out what. And I stopped doing that. And I said, no, you know what? I'm going to exercise today. And, however it may be. And this is, moving on to my next principle. It kind of ties in with this exercise one. So I'll just go ahead and present it and then discuss them together. Is setting small realistic goals. So when you look at exercise and when you first start, you're like so gung-ho, like, I'm gonna run every day, 7 days a week, I'm gonna do an hour. And then the very first, the first day, the second day that you can't achieve that because it's such an unrealistic goal, you just beat yourself up about it and you get so, upset, and it just sets you up for failure. So setting up a small goal and just saying, I'm gonna do 10 minutes of exercise today, only just today. I'm gonna focus on what I can do right now. And then when you do that 10 minutes, you feel amazing. You feel like you accomplished something. You feel great instead of feeling beat down and, beating yourself up because you didn't achieve some unattainable goal. Also, to motivate myself to exercise is so I would set small goals, and typically I could go more than the 10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever I set up for myself. And then you feel even better because you're like, I'm awesome. I did more than the 5 minutes that or 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever. And you know that you can do that. And so when you set up your next goal, you're confident that you can continue on. And what motivates me to exercise, or originally what motivated me to exercise when I first started this program this last time around, was I took stock of what I felt like the days that I exercised. So I noticed the days that I exercised, I had less anxiety and I slept better that night, and I just felt more, better sense of well-being. And I used that as my motivation. So I didn't think like, I try to take the approach like, oh, I'm not gonna, exercise 5 days this week, and if I don't do it, then I beat myself up. I said, you know what? I woke up in the morning, and if I had the time, and I set aside the time, I said, okay, I can do 20 minutes. And then I would do 20 minutes, and then I'd be on the, my machine, and you can see I have a machine right there. That's what I exercise on a lot. I would be on there 20 minutes and then think, I could do 5 more minutes. Okay, I'm gonna push myself to 5 more minutes. And then it got to be where I was like, okay, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes. And then now I can do up to an hour on that. And, I don't always do an hour, and I don't always want to do an hour, but I can. And that, knowing that I started out being able to only do 20 minutes, that's an accomplishment, and it feels good. And so, setting the realistic goals for yourself is something that's really a big deal, because when you set a realistic goal, you're confident that you can do it, and there's a different feeling about it. And so as far as weight loss, like when you look at, oh, I need to lose 50 pounds or 100 pounds or 20 pounds, it seems insurmountable. But when you look at it and think, I'm gonna lose 5 pounds, I can do that. I can lose 5 pounds, and that only takes, 2 weeks, realistically. Let's think, maybe 3 weeks. That's a nice little chunk of time you can just wrap up and put a bow on and not feel like you are, looking up this huge peak that you just can't reach. And so you go into it with a confident mind, and then when you reach that 5 pounds, or let's say you lost 7 pounds, 8 pounds, you're like, oh, and you do that happy dance, and you're awesome, and you just feel so good. And so it's like setting those small goals, and you have a different mindset when you're looking at those. You're not, beating yourself up every mistake you make, and you're not going to be perfect. I mean, we're not perfect, and you just, when you set these unrealistic goals, you try to strive for perfection, and it's just too big a task for us to, as humans, that are just, we make mistakes, and it just sets you up for failure. So setting small goals and looking at exercise as a way to make yourself feel better. And I know that's cliche, and I know, people that are trying to get you to exercise are like, oh, well, it'll make you feel better. Don't you just want that? And you're like, yeah, whatever. I feel fine now. But really, when you start exercising, it really does make you feel better. Those are my tips for motivating yourself to lose weight and what you can do. And I really hope that someone gets something from this, because I know that all of these things really helped me. So stay tuned for my another video showing what I eat, and I'll hopefully be able to film more of those videos showing what I eat to help me lose and now maintain my weight. So if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you can see the other videos I'll be uploading sometime soon now. And I wish you luck on your weight loss journey. Thank you. Bye.